the book of life. But I'll confess his name before my Father and before his angels. Book of life. It's amazing how many references there are in the Bible to the book of life. And it's amazing how many of those references are related to names being blotted out. In Exodus 32:32, as Moses is praying to the Lord when the nation of Israel had committed idolatry, and the Lord said, step back, Moses, I'll wipe them out and I'll give you a new nation to lead. Moses prayed to the Lord, interceding for them and asking the Lord to forgive their sin. And he said, if not, blot me, I pray thee, out of your book which you have written. And the Lord said to Moses, whosoever has sinned against me, him will I blot out of my book. In Deuteronomy 9:14, the Lord said to Moses, let me alone that I may destroy them and blot out their name from under heaven, and I will make of thee a nation mightier and greater than they. And of course, Deuteronomy is sort of a repeat, and this prayer of Moses followed that statement of God. Psalm 69:28. David prayed, let them be blotted out of the book of the living and not be written with the righteous. Psalm 109:13. Let his posterity be cut off in the generation following. Let their name be blotted out. Revelation 13:8. And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship the Antichrist, whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb, slain from the foundation of the world. In Revelation 17:8, the beast or the Antichrist which you saw was and is not shall ascend out of the bottomless pit and go into perdition. And they that dwell on the earth will wonder whose names were not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world when they behold the beast that was and is not and yet is. Revelation 20:12. I saw the dead, small and great, standing before God. The books were open. Another book was open, which is the book of life. And the dead were judged out of the things which were written in the books according to their works. And whosoever was not found written in the book of life was cast into the lake of fire. Revelation 21:27. And there shall in no wise enter into it, that is into heaven, anything that defiles, neither whatever works abomination or lies, but they that are written in the Lamb's book of life. Revelation 22:19. And if any man shall take away from the words of the book of this prophecy, God shall take away his part out of the book of life and out of the holy city and from the things which are written in this book. Now, those who subscribe to the doctrine of eternal security have a real problem with this particular passage, where the Lord said, he that overcometh, the same will be clothed in white raiment. I will not blot out his name out of the book of life. The very issue of a person's name being blotted out of the book of life. But yet it is declared in other passages. And if I would say, well, it can't be, this is just written into, then I'm taking away from the words of this book, and my name could be blotted out. So I'm not going to try and modify this or change it at all. Just this is what it says. And evidently a person's name can be blotted out, or else the Lord would not even threaten such a thing. But I will confess his name before my Father and before his angels. Jesus said, that if you confess me before men, I will confess you before my Father in the presence of his holy angels. He that hath an ear to hear, let him hear what the Spirit says to the churches. To the church angel of the church in Philadelphia write. The word Philadelphia, of course, means brotherly love. And there was this city of Philadelphia and a church in Philadelphia, the Philadelphian church. These things saith he that is holy, and he that is true, he that has the key of David, he that opens and no man can shut, and shuts and no man can open. So Jesus now describing himself to the church of Philadelphia. He that is holy, he that is true, he who has the key of David, and he that opens and no man can shut, and shuts and no man can open. In Isaiah, during the reign of Hezekiah, Isaiah was prophesying. There was this fellow who was serving in the priesthood. His name was Shebna, and he was being replaced by the Lord. He was unfaithful and being replaced by the Lord. And the Lord said to Isaiah there in chapter 22, verse 20, and it shall come to pass in that day that I will call my servant Eliakim, going to take out Shebna, and I will call my servant Eliakim, the son of Hilkiah, and I will clothe him with the robe and strengthen him with the girdle, and I will commit thy government into his hand, and he shall be the father to the inhabitants of Jerusalem and to the house of Judah. And the key of the house of David will I lay upon his shoulder. So he shall be open, and none shall shut, and he shall shut, and none shall open. So this is now declared concerning Christ, and so it was sort of a prefiguring of Christ who was going to come and with the key of David and open that no man can shut. The Lord said, I know thy works, and I have set before thee an open door, which no man can shut. For thou hast little strength, and have kept my word, and have not denied my name. Philadelphia is a church that God does not call upon to repent. Remember, Smyrna was not called upon to repent. Philadelphia would seem to be the Lord's true church in the last days. Hopefully, we would fit the church of Philadelphia. We would surely want to and aspire to fit the description of the church of Philadelphia, the Lord's true church in the last days. The Lord is saying that he will open a door to us that no man can shut, and declaring that we have a little strength. And that's probably very true compared with the early church in the book of Acts. We have a little strength. We look at the power of the church in the book of Acts. Tremendous power. And we have nothing that even approaches close to that. But thank God for the little strength that we have. So he said, behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but they lie. Behold, I will make them to come and worship before thy feet, and to know that I have loved thee. So this particular portion of the message to the Church of Philadelphia is something that has not yet happened. The Bible talks about provoking the Jews unto jealousy in that we have their Messiah, and we are enjoying the benefits right now that God